I wonder when in history it became weird, fanatical, crazy, unusual, out of the ordinary to be healthy, to be fit, to be strong, to have a career or business that you love, to be financially free, wealthy, and to have great people in your life. Now, they're the things that I bang on about every day because to me they just seem like normal things. But the world isn't showing that, is it? It's not normal anymore to be healthy. It seems to be freakish if you want to be lean and healthy and fit and strong for the rest of your life. Very few people have a career or business that they love, a tiny number. Very few people retire financially free where they're not relying on the government or their family, or they can live in a way that they would love to live the last part of their life. They don't have enough money to do that. And most people are unhappy with the people in their life. They don't like, even if they've got family, they don't particularly like them, or they are treated disrespectfully, or they have rude, not very nice people in their life. So why do we accept that? And there's an interesting thing to consider because we often hear that there's a big differentiation now between the rich and the poor. So the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. But add to that a few more things, I think. The healthy people are becoming healthier and healthier and investing more time and energy and money and passion into staying young. And the people that are unfit, which is 9 out of 10 according to the statistics, are getting weaker and fatter and sicker and more diseased than they've ever been. So the health span is just crazy. Very, very healthy versus very, very sick, weak and diseased, dying early, and if not dying early, having horrible quality of life for the last part of your life. Yuck. Very few people have a career or business that they love, but there are the people that do, that will rave about it. I'm happy, I'm successful, I'm financially free, I love what I do, I'm doing what I'm passionate about, versus most people who either don't have a job or they have a job that they hate, a boss they don't like, they're not proud of their product or service, they're just plodding along, existing through life, going to a job to earn enough money to pay their lousy, stinking, rotten bills. I feel sick as I say that. Financial freedom. The wealthy people, there's plenty of wealth in the world, but it seems to be going that direction. A lot of people are struggling for money. Most people are living paycheck to paycheck. Most people don't save any money. Most people are living financially very tough. And that differentiation seems to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then how many people do you know that have absolutely only gorgeous people in their life? Positive, happy, solution finding, goal setting, achieving, gorgeous, happy people versus most of the time my partner's grumpy or angry or they don't like their job or they yell and scream or they're in a bad mood or I don't know what to expect when I go home because my partner's always in a bad mood. I hear this every day. So why is this happening? Now, I'm not a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a neurosurgeon, or I don't specialise in the brain. I do, however, study the brain and I study human behaviour every single day. I've been doing this all of my life. And it seems that, because I'm so old, it seems that there's a big differentiation between people who follow the crowd, people who do what everybody else is doing, people who are almost brain dead because they're not thinking for themselves, versus the people who are critical thinkers, question everything, ask, please explain, tell me why, how does that work? They're the people who are constantly learning and growing and training and educating. There seems to be a very large differentiation there. Most people now are asking a robot to give them information. They're asking Dr. Google to give them information. They're listening to the group think around them. So if everybody's saying this, it must be true, versus the very small number of people who are still critically thinking and asking questions. So there seems to be an interesting intervention there, which is the birth, and I was there to see it, the birth of the internet, the birth of Dr. Google, the birth of AI. I've seen it all. And it's been really interesting to watch that people have stopped thinking for themselves. Now, of course, not everybody, but it seems that most people are not questioning anything. They just listen to the news, they listen to the radio, they scroll through social media, they find the most interesting calamity, tragic, horrific headlines on their social media feed and go, well, that must be true, and they believe it. Well, something to be really considering now, I think, even more than ever, is with the birth of robots and AI. A lot of what you see on social media, is it possible that that's not even a person? Or it is a person who wants you to believe whatever's being said is true. So they pick a pretty voice and they pick an important looking person and they pick great headlines and great pictures. And because it looks so good, we believe it. And the reason I'm asking all of these, I think, very important questions, I'm not a parent, but I am a teacher and a coach and a boss and a leader. And critical thinking is something I think is almost dead. So I want to give you just a very simple tool. When people ask me a question, Rowie, what do you think about this? What should I eat? How should I exercise? How should I look after my money? What career or business should I get? My answer is always the same. If you were your own high-performance eating and exercise coach, what advice would you give yourself? If you were your own high-performance career coach, business coach, what advice would you give yourself? If you were your own financial planner and you had to plan your financial future so that you could retire and be able to go and do all the things that you want to do, and even more importantly, do them now, what advice would you give yourself? And if you were a high-performance relationship, personal communication coach, what advice would you give yourself about the people you should put into your life, the people that you should invest time with rather than spend time with? Because if I ask you the question, or ask your own brain to come up with the answer, we have very smart brains. Sadly, if you stop using something, you lose it. Just like muscle, if you stop using your muscles, they waste away. If you stop using your brain, it wastes away. That's called Alzheimer's and dementia. And it happened to my father, and I'm sharing this very personally. My father could speak 7 languages fluently. He could sing and write and speak and communicate in 7 languages. He knew the Bible verbatim. He was a theologian. He was originally a Catholic priest, and that's another story. But my father knew the entire Bible. If you quoted any text of the Bible, he could tell you what it was. But as soon as he started to get older, people said, well, his brain must be rotting away because he's getting older. Isn't that usually the excuse? Stop exercising because you're old. Stop learning because you're old. Stop doing exciting things because you're old. Stop traveling because you're old. Stop because you're old. How ridiculous. Well, that happened to my father. My family believed the doctors that said your father's getting Alzheimer's and dementia, and my father's brain rotted away because he stopped asking questions, he stopped singing, he stopped reading the Bible, he stopped learning, and he became brain dead. Alzheimer's and dementia is a brain dead disease. Well, now we know. My father died before 1999 when everyone thought that neurogenesis wasn't possible. Neurogenesis is creating new brain cells. Neuroplasticity is thinking differently. You change the way your brain thinks if you force it to. So if you're really fit, so you get puffed at 100% effort. If you're really strong, you lift at 100% effort. You change your brain chemistry. You make it stronger, you make it better. Neurogenesis is caused by brain-derived neurotropic factor, which is literally a myokine hormone response in your body that sends messages from your muscle back to your brain to say we need to be stronger and better for next time. So then your brain gets stronger and better for next time and sends the messages to your muscles, you need to be stronger and better for next time. So this is very simple. If you stop using your brain and you just listen to what everybody else is telling you and you don't think for yourself, your brain will rot away. If you don't keep learning and training and educating and literally asking questions, your brain will rot away. If you stop using your body, it will rot away. Your body's very adaptive mechanism. It's an amazing machine. If you don't use something, your body says, well, we won't waste calories or energy on that thing anymore because they're not using it anymore. It's why we've gotten so fat and sick and diseased, because we sit in chairs, we sit in the car and we sit at the table and we sit at the movies and we sit on the plane, we sit on a bus and we sit, and our body said, well, they're not using their legs anymore, so we can let the biggest muscles in their body waste away. That's how the brain and the body work together to make sure that you can last a long time. So we're not going to waste calories on something you're not using. If you stop using your brain, we're not going to feed it anymore because it doesn't need us anymore, so the nutrients can go somewhere else. I don't want that to happen to me. I'm an old lady. I saw it happen to my father. We protected my mother from that. She was told she would die. Well, everyone else in her family died under the age of 70. Even younger. My mother died peacefully in her sleep at 98. She kept exercising, she kept punching and kicking, she kept running up and down stairs, she kept swimming, she kept doing all the things that kept her young, and they did keep her young. She had a very, very sharp brain at 98. She didn't have Alzheimer's or dementia. I'm sharing this with you because I think it's really sad if you let your body waste away. I think it's really sad if there's a big divide between rich and poor. There's plenty of poor people that have become rich because they've studied wealth. There's plenty of fat, overweight, sick, diseased, depressed, unhealthy people that have become very healthy, fit and strong because they've studied how to become healthy, fit and strong. They've applied what they learn, and they have. There's plenty of people that have had lousy, stinking, rotten jobs and horrible bosses and selling terrible products and said, I'm not putting up with this anymore. They've made changes and they've started their own business, or they've got a career or business that they love. There's plenty of people that have had horrible, negative, nasty, destructive people in their life, and they've said enough is enough, I'm not putting up with that anymore, and they have changed their entire lifestyle because they've gotten rid of the horrible people out of their life. That is a personal choice, and that's why I bang on about them every day. I don't want that divide. I would like everybody to be healthy, fit and strong, have a career or business that love, be financially free and have great people in their life. I would love that. But that is a personal choice. I can't force people to do that. If you're a parent, you can't force your kids to do that. If you're a person, you can't force your adult circle to do that. You can't force your parents to do that. Adults can do whatever they want, which is why I invest so much time now with children. I want our children to know that being healthy, fit and strong is normal. Having a career or business that you love is exciting. It is really awesome to be financially free, and you can be, and I think it's destructive and disrespectful and irresponsible to have horrible people in your life, because horrible people affect your life in a very negative way. So if you want to live your life to the max, how about this? Choose to be healthy, fit and strong. Choose to have a career or business that you love. Choose to be financially free, and choose to have only great people in your inner circle. And ultimately that all comes from having a healthy, fit, strong body that has a healthy, fit, strong brain that can make great decisions so that you can critically think and your brain doesn't rot away. Doesn't that sound awesome? Live your life to the max. I'm about to take my puppy dogs for a run because I need my puppy dogs to be healthy, fit and strong because they're my kids. Yeah.